Story 1. The Collector. I never knew his real name. On the forum, he was just a username. Sharp, cold, impossible to forget. He claimed to be a collector, and at first I thought he meant art or rare books. But on the dark web, words rarely mean what you think. It started with a friendly message. He said he'd found a picture of me on another site, a stupid, careless photo I'd posted years ago. At first, I laughed it off. Then he sent it back to me, but altered, twisted. And he told me if I didn't follow his instructions, he'd send it to my friends, my family, my employer. I told him no. Minutes later, he sent me a list of people I knew, their emails, their phone numbers. Somehow, he had them all. I felt my chest tighten. The instructions came in waves. Small humiliations at first. Holding a sign with degrading words. Wearing ridiculous outfits. Always with the camera on. Then he pushed further. Things that made my stomach turn. Things I can't even write without shaking. He wasn't alone. There were others in the chat. Faceless usernames watching, suggesting new ways to break me. I realized then this wasn't about money. It was about control, about turning people into content. The more I complied, the deeper I sank. He made it clear there was no way out. "You're part of the collection now," he typed one night. I imagined him sitting somewhere, cataloging my shame in a folder with hundreds of others. I tried to disappear, deleted accounts, smashed my old laptop, changed my number, but the messages kept finding me. Different names, same tone. "I see you. Don't think you're free." Then one day, the forum went quiet. No messages, no updates. Weeks passed. I thought maybe he'd moved on to someone else. Months later, I read about an arrest. A man caught running one of the most sadistic networks on the dark web. The charges listed were horrifying. But what froze me was his photo. I didn't recognize the face, just the eyes. I don't know if all my images were deleted. I don't know if they're still traded in hidden corners. Sometimes, when I open my email, I still hesitate, waiting for a subject line that will drag me back into that room I can never fully leave. Story 2. The Red Room. I used to think Red Rooms were just an urban legend, a boogeyman for dark web tourists, a place where people paid to watch something real, something irreversible. I told myself it was impossible, until one night I stumbled across a thread on a private forum. The post was short, invite keys available, Bitcoin only, serious viewers only. Most of the replies were jokes, but buried in the middle was a single fresh comment with a link. Against every instinct, I clicked. The page was black. A single red dot pulsed in the center like a heartbeat. Then text appeared. Minimum buy-in, 0.5 BTC. Pay to enter. My rational mind screamed to close the tab, but my curiosity dug in. My hands shook as I sent the payment. The screen flickered to life. Grainy video, dimly lit. A man in a black mask stood beside a figure tied to a chair. The room was concrete, windowless. A chat box ran alongside the feed, messages scrolling too fast to read. Then I understood. They weren't just watching. They were giving instructions. Cut their hair. Show the camera their face. Use the knife. The masked man read the comments, nodding occasionally. Every so often, he would look directly into the lens, as if checking who was still there. The chat turned uglier. Bids appeared, climbing in real time. I realized they were paying for control. Each higher number granting a louder voice in what would happen next. The man walked over to a table. Something metallic caught the light. My chest tightened. My cursor hovered over the close button, but I couldn't move. Then the feed stuttered. The image froze on the masked man, just as he stepped toward the chair. A moment later, the stream resumed. Too close now, the details sharper than I wanted. I slammed the laptop shut so hard it rattled. My reflection stared back in the black screen, pale and wide-eyed. I unplugged everything, router, phone, even the lamp, and sat in darkness, listening for sounds I couldn't name. I don't know if what I saw was real or staged, but I know the chat was real. The usernames, the bids, the hunger in their words. Somewhere, right now, someone is sitting in that same room, waiting for the next payment to decide what happens. Story 3. The stream that knew my name. I'd been on the dark web long enough to think I'd seen it all. Drug markets, stolen data, scam hitman sites. Most of it was just noise. But one night, I joined a hidden streaming channel that didn't have a name, just a string of characters and a Live Now tag. When the feed loaded, it was a room I didn't recognize. A single overhead bulb cast harsh shadows on a bare floor. A person sat in the middle, hood over their head, hands tied. I expected the usual sick performance meant to bait donations. Then the chat caught my eye. It wasn't random usernames typing. It was one user. Admin, sending short, precise sentences. Remove the hood. The person obeyed, revealing a pale, shaking man. His eyes darted toward the camera, like he could see through it. The next line appeared in chat. Say hello to Thaddeus. I froze. It wasn't a common name, but it was mine. My cursor hovered over the close button, but before I could click, the man on screen spoke. His voice was hoarse, trembling. Hello, Thaddeus. They're watching you too. Every muscle in my body went tight. The admin typed again. Don't leave. The tied man's gaze stayed locked on the camera. Then he whispered, They know where you are. The feed glitched for a moment, and when it returned, the camera angle had changed. Now, it showed not just the man, but the wall behind him, covered in dozens of blurry photos. I leaned closer. Some were of strangers. Some I recognized. Friends, family. One image in the corner made my stomach drop. It was my apartment building, taken from across the street. I shut the laptop so fast it slid across the desk. My breathing was loud in the quiet room. I pulled the power cord, yanked my phone from the charger, and turned off every light. For hours, I sat there, waiting for a knock that never came. I never went back to that site. I scrubbed my drives, changed my accounts, moved apartments 6 months later. But I can't shake the feeling that the man in that room was telling the truth. That somewhere, there's still a stream running, waiting for me to come back and watch.